Future Comics. Do this one over here. This is a little bit better. All right, give it up for the Venice Open Mic. Yes. Just so everyone knows, this is a site of international outrage. Yes. Venice is running into a trademark dispute with the actual city of Venice, Italy. Dude, Italy gets everything. Can't we just get this one thing? Like, fuck, I almost feel like the French should have more animosity to St. Louis with how we pronounce Gravois. It's Gravois! I also looked online. Somebody said, like, hey, how Americans pronounce goeth? Anybody heard of goeth? Okay, fuck you guys. I love reading. But Goethe is a German writer. Very famous guy who actually, he did Faust. Anybody know Faust? Yes. A doctor who made a deal with Mephisto. Or Mephisto. Mephistopheles, there you go. There's also an anime known as Shaman King, and they have a character that's based off that character. But here's my point. Goethe is actually pronounced Goethe. So, like, anybody who disagrees with that can go to hell. I wanted to do that joke. Thank you. All right, so my name is Richard Dog Slocum, and I share a name with my grandfather. Now, I got to also mention this. I just had a birthday yesterday.
Yeah, 31, right?
Yeah.
Birthday!
I have learned something recently. After 30, or actually before 30. Has anybody been younger than 30 before? Nobody? Okay, cool. So just me. So, like, being younger than 30, you have family who always love to say, Jesus Christ, love to say how much, like, potential you have. You know what I mean? Anything you do well at the age of 6, it's like, holy fuck, you could be the next football star. Or holy shit, he could be the next chess grandmaster. What I've realized is after 30, you're only met with like jobs in sales or joining a cult. I'm doing stand-up right now, so I feel like that's a happy medium. It's great. See, like, the interesting thing about stand-up, or weird thing about stand-up in fact, is the fact that you try to be perceived as honest on stage, when in reality, dude, you're basically the guy who is always a disappointment. Well, like, just a real point right now. Has anybody had a funny joke you want to tell your friends? No, never? Okay, so like, imagine if you did, and then you say that joke in front of them, and nobody laughed. Yeah, that's a sucky situation. Now imagine doing this stand-up at an open mic, not around, well, like, hey, I like to see everybody's friends here. Can we just say that? Can we pretend we're friends right now? Can we also pretend that I'm good up here? It's not like I'm taping it right now, like there's little, there's proof. But like at the same time, pretend I'm good, okay? But like, what was I fucking talking about?
Telling a joke in front of your friends.
Thank you, I love you. No, like literally. No, I gotta say this though, this is a key point. Like with stand-up, it's a lot different than doing music, right? Where like in private, you can practice a song multiple times. You know exactly how that song goes. Same thing with poetry. You have a poem that you wrote in private, and you practice it in front of a mirror, like a crazy person. And just talking to yourself, and then also laughing at key points of your own poem that you're like, that was really cool. I'm not looking at you, Jesse, but that was like, can we give it up for Jesse? That was a really good poem. Like, that's a key thing about poetry, though, too. Like, so, mentioning about stand-up, you're telling jokes in front of people don't laugh. That's okay. If you're doing poetry, if people don't laugh, that's good, right? Well, do you always want them to laugh?
If you wrote a funny poem and nobody laughed,
yes! But that's going into joking, right? Sometimes when you say a poem, you're speaking like from authenticity from the heart. You're trying to share an experience that, like, you hope is shared by other people, and you say it out loud, and everybody's just like, or? Did we do that at all tonight? No, like, that's a weird thing. Like, I do stand-up, like, occasionally I'll say a joke, and then I'll get snaps. But then you nail the experience that's different between poetry and stand-up. Poetry, you say something, you create attention. You say, everybody should look at this right now. Everybody has this experience. Look at this right now. Bear witness. Good. That's poetry. And that's the joke. Because it turns out with poetry, you create attention. You create silence. You hear people in the back right now, right? But that's a good sign. But then when you come into like stand-up, it's about playing the audience. It's not just about like, well, at the same time I love poetry because there's so much premeditation. It's almost like the idea that God exists. You know, right? Like shit, do you believe anything like in this life makes sense? Like, I almost feel like with stand-up is an exaggeration of what life is. Life is not funny. Like, life is fucking serious. Like, and then you die. And then you do stand-up, and you exaggerate on that point. It's like, not only do you die, but bugs eat you. But like, with stand-up, poetry, music, and all that shit, it's all bringing us down to the main point of this entire thing. It's the relationship between everybody in here, with each other as musicians, artists, and all that stuff, and also with the bar. We all drink, right? Anybody drink? Tip the bartender, please.
Do it.
Yeah, and also number 2, I call it the bar tax. Like, if you want to get like a lot of respect as a musician, or as a stand-up person, or anybody who like engages in performance arts, you might need to pay the bar tax and drink a lot. And tip well. Not in a bad way. It almost goes into the sense that we're all trying to do something special here, right? Some of us are doing poetry, some of us are doing music. Other people are trying to make tips, right? And we have to create an economy among all our people here and realize that St. Louis is a great place to be at, right?
Right.
Everybody agree with St. Louis? Woo! Yeah. Dude, I gotta say though, St. Louis is a fucking toxic city. Real talk.
Oh.
Well, like,
How dare you?
wait, why? I realize it's about St. Louis. Anytime you talk about St. Louis, if you talk about it in public, you have to say something positive. Yeah. But in private, you talk shit about it all the time.
Of course.
Literally, if you create a joke about it, it's okay. But like, if you start commenting on how everybody went to high school together, and you didn't, and everybody gives you shit for being from Belleville, or like actually like doing high school in Belleville, and then moving back to St. Louis, and not technically like did the school thing in St. Louis, but now, you know, I'm here in St. Louis now. That's nobody in particular, just so you know. But I want to say this though right now. Let me just say this. Fuck Italy. This is Venice Cafe. The Venetian. If they do change the name, they should say the Venetian, and their motto should be, smells a lot better than the city of Venice. Thank you! My name is Richard Oxlum. Have a lovely rest of your night. One more time is coming up. Thank you. This mic stand is weird. Why is there tape here?
Because nobody picked up bar tax.
One more time for Richard Slocum, everybody.